الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رب صائم ليس له من صيامه إلا الجوع ورب قائم ليس له من قيامه إلا السهر رواه ابن ماجه واللفظ له والنسائي وابن خزيمة في صحيحه والحاكم وقال على شهادة البخاري ذكر لفظهما المنذري في الترغيب بمعناه. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Many are the ones who fast, attaining nothing by such fasting except for hunger. Many are the ones performing salah by night, attaining nothing by it except for the discomfort of staying awake. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Many are the ones who fast, attaining nothing by such fasting except for hunger. And many are the ones performing salah by night, attaining nothing by it except for the discomfort of staying awake. Commentary. With regard to this hadith, the ulama have mentioned three different interpretations. Firstly, this hadith refers to those who fast during the day and then eat iftar with such food which is haram. All the reward received for fasting is destroyed and a great sin is recorded for him because of eating haram, and nothing has been attained except hunger. Secondly, those who fasted properly but during fasting kept themselves busy with backbiting and slandering others. Thirdly, the one who while fasting did not stay away from evil and sin. Since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's utterances are comprehensive, all forms of sin are included here. Likewise is the case of staying up all night, but because of backbiting or other sinful acts like missing Fajr Salah or showing off or seeking fame, this noble act goes unrewarded. So regarding to the commentary, we'll read the hadith again. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Many are the ones who fast, attaining nothing by such fasting except for hunger. And many are the ones performing salah by night, attaining nothing by it except for the discomfort of staying awake. Commentary. With regard to this hadith, the ulama have mentioned three different interpretations. Firstly, the hadith refers to those who fast during the day and then eat iftar with such food which is haram. So it is something that we have to be very mindful of, staying away from haram food. And and there's some due diligence. It's not it's not a given that any food in the supermarket is okay. There are many things that we do have to check up on, and if it comes down to our fast being accepted or not, or our ibadat being accepted or not, then we understand that it's something that we have to be mindful of. Secondly, those who fasted properly but during fasting kept themselves busy with backbiting and slandering. Backbiting and slandering to while away the time. So that's the second type of person who ulama have mentioned could be meant by this, that he attains nothing by such fasting except for hunger. And the third is the one who while fasting did not stay away from evil and sin. He didn't stay away from evil and sin. And now, wrapping it all up, since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's utterances are comprehensive, and he said that utitu jawami'ul kalim, comprehensive speech. He said he would say little, but it would contain a lot of meaning. So this is what it's referring to, this particular hadith. That since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's utterances are comprehensive, all forms of sin are included here. Likewise is the case of staying up all night, but because of backbiting or other sinful acts like missing Fajr Salat, or showing off, or seeking fame. Whatever it might be that a person does, which is sinful, this noble act of staying awake at night goes unrewarded. Let us be mindful of these things. عن أبي عبيدة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الصيام جنة ما لم يخرقها. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu reports, I have heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying, fasting is a shield. Fasting is a shield. for a man, as long as he does not destroy that protection. Fasting is a shield for a man so long as he does not destroy that protection. Commentary: just as a man protects himself with a shield, fasting protects him from his enemy shaitan. In another hadith, we are told that fasting saves one from Allah's punishment in the hereafter. One hadith mentions that fasting saves one from Jahannam. Once somebody inquired from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what causes the fast to tear, to be destroyed? The reply was telling lies and backbiting. So this particular hadith corroborates the previous hadith that we read. What causes the fast to tear? What causes the fast to lose its effect? Telling lies and backbiting. So telling lies, something that could be with respect to the rights of Allah. Backbiting is definitely with respect to huquq al-ibad, the rights of people. And both ways, the person is destroying, he's losing the value. So this hadith, when read in conjunction with so many other hadiths, tells us to avoid such deeds. Such deeds cause fasting to be wasted. We are fond of indulging in unnecessary conversation to pass time. And this is so that, we just want time to pass. Come on, man, we have 1 hour for iftar. Now, this is literally the situation. We have 1 hour and 5 minutes for iftar. Oh, man, so what did you do? Who did you meet yesterday? What was he saying? Yeah, he's like this, he's like that. This is our habit. Some ulama are of the opinion that telling lies and backbiting actually just cause the fast to break, just as eating and drinking does. However, the vast majority of ulama believe that the fast does not actually break, but becomes void of blessings. So we had touched upon this earlier, but as we come onto the tail end, let me just read the headings of what these points are. So firstly, one should keep the eyes away from any place where one is not supposed to look. That was the first thing. Guarding the eyes. Secondly, guarding the tongue against telling lies, unnecessary conversations, backbiting, arguments, swearing, etc. So that was the second thing, guarding the tongue. Thirdly, one should avoid listening to anything makruh. It is not permissible to say or listen to anything which should not be said. So, saying something, the tongue should be, listening. So just as it is haram to talk about someone, it is not permissible to be involved in a gathering where backbiting is going on. This is also something which is equally discouraged and punished. That someone should guard his ears from listening. Even if someone is just talking, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Excuse yourself. Say, look, I don't want to put this burden on, I don't want you to take this burden on yourself, and I definitely do not want this burden on me. So please excuse me from this, and rather, you should turn to something which will be of more benefit to you, and not speak something which will be a liability against you. Fourthly, the rest of the body should be kept away from sin and evil. Neither should the hands touch it, nor the feet made to walk towards it, and so on. So the rest of the body. There was the eyes, there was the tongue, there was the ears, there's the body. Fifthly, after having fasted, it is not advisable to fill the stomach completely, even with halal food at iftar. So this is a point of a bit more virtue, that yes, avoid filling your stomach entirely, because we spend the day hungry, and this brought us closer to Allah. Now we fill it up, like we're partying it down, and this extra weight and stuff which is in our stomach, a person finds it difficult to stand in salat. He's like, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, takes out a burp. He can't recite properly, he can't even breathe straight because he's been stuffing his mouth with so much food. And the sixth point is that after fasting, one should always have fear and anxiety as to whether one's fast had been accepted or rejected by Allah. So we should be hopeful. We should be hopeful. Don't go down this rabbit hole of doubting that to such an extent that you become that you start despairing that my fast will never be accepted. But second guess yourself that perhaps there's something I did that would cause its value to not be good. Perhaps there's something I could have done better. And keep trying to fix up your game. So long as we are trying to improve what we're doing and we're fearful that it might not be accepted, inshallah, Allah will save us from what we fear and He will give us what we hope, for what we're hopeful. So we should have these things, guard our fast. So, inshallah, the three things which will cause our fast not to be accepted and for us to lose the value of our fast: eating haram food. So this is not just a topic in Ramadan. This is a topic of Ramadan, but this is a topic outside. The meat that we are consuming, is it halal? The ingredients in our food, are they halal? Many people, they do not read the ingredients. They'll see, oh, it has gelatin, it has beef tallow, it has lard. They don't even pay attention. And then when it's brought to their attention, look, sometimes it's ignorance, sometimes it's carelessness. Whatever the case is, we're not in a Muslim country where the food should, would generally be expected all to be halal. Rather, we have to do our due diligence. Even with respect to food, meats, people say, it's all halal, it's all halal. The meat industry is a very complicated industry. And issues of supply and demand make it even more complicated. So we should be on point, making sure that the meat that we're eating is halal. Make sure that it's coming from a very authentic source. Gee. So someone is asking, does eating haram food break your fast? No, that was the opinion of some scholars, but a person does not have to. Sorry, what was the question? Look, making kafara is a whole different topic. That's when someone breaks their fast on purpose. Then they have to fast for 60 days straight. That's kafara. Qada is when you break your fast. Look, once you fasted until iftar time, then what you eat sand, or you eat eat a rock, or you eat a date, or whatever it might be, your fast is valid. It could stand to be more virtuous, but whatever the case is, these are kind of extreme examples, but point being that your fast will be valid. So the obligation to fast will be discharged. The spiritual benefit behind it, that's a question mark. So inshallah, we will leave you at that, and inshallah, we will pick up tomorrow. Just a couple of days left for Ramadan. So let's push ourselves. Let's work hard to make our last couple of days of Ramadan count. إنما الأعمال بالخواتيم. The one hadith which we'll repeat again and again, that the deeds will be judged according to their endings. So push ourselves. Let's push ourselves during these ending days of Ramadan so that we can attain the best benefit. We can finish off this Ramadan with a bang, that we finish it off on a high note. We are pushing ourselves. We're doing the best deeds. And inshallah, Allah give us tawfiq to keep this going throughout the rest of the year, for the rest of our lives. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta